The allure of Europe, with its promise of stability, economic opportunity, and advanced educational systems, continues to capture the imagination of many individuals across Africa and Asia. For decades, people from these diverse continents have looked towards Europe as a destination for a new life. This aspiration is driven by a complex interplay of factors. These factors include seeking better employment prospects and higher wages. They also encompass the desire for quality education for themselves or their children. Furthermore, some seek refuge from conflict, political instability, or persecution in their home countries, hoping for safety and a chance to rebuild. The dream often involves achieving a higher standard of living and providing a secure future for their families. This growing interest in migrating to Europe, and specifically to countries like Germany, is not a monolithic phenomenon. It comprises a wide spectrum of individuals. These range from highly skilled professionals and ambitious students to families seeking reunification and individuals in dire need of humanitarian protection. Each group possesses unique motivations and faces distinct challenges in navigating the complex web of European immigration policies. The European Union, while presenting a somewhat unified front, is composed of member states with their own specific rules, labor market needs, and societal attitudes towards immigration. Understanding this diverse landscape is the first crucial step for any prospective migrant. Recent years have seen significant shifts in global migration patterns. Economic developments, political changes, and environmental pressures in various parts of Africa and Asia continually reshape these flows. Simultaneously, European nations are grappling with their own demographic challenges, labor shortages in certain sectors, and evolving political discourses around migration. This dynamic environment means that information about viable pathways and integration prospects needs to be current and well understood. Aspiring migrants must therefore arm themselves with accurate knowledge to make informed decisions about their future, ensuring their journey is both legal and sustainable in the long term. This essay aims to provide a detailed guide for individuals from African and Asian countries considering a move to Germany and other parts of Europe. It will explore effective long-term migration pathways, such as work visas, student permits, and family reunification. The discussion will also cover the realities of the asylum system, particularly in Germany, including recent success rates and policy adjustments. Furthermore, it will highlight other EU countries that may offer different opportunities or more straightforward integration processes. The goal is to offer a clear, evidence-based overview to help navigate this significant life decision with greater confidence and understanding. Navigating the journey to Europe for long-term residence and work requires a thorough understanding of the available legal pathways. These routes are designed to manage migration flows, address labor market needs, and fulfill humanitarian obligations. For individuals from African and Asian countries, selecting the correct pathway is paramount. It significantly influences the likelihood of success and the nature of their future life in Europe. The primary categories for legal migration generally include employment-based visas, educational permits, family reunification programs, and, under specific circumstances, asylum or humanitarian protection. Each of these avenues has distinct eligibility criteria, application processes, and associated rights. Work-related migration is a significant channel, particularly for skilled individuals. Many European countries, including Germany, actively seek to attract talent from abroad to fill specific shortages in their labor markets. These pathways often require a job offer from a European employer, specific qualifications, and sometimes language proficiency. Student visas offer another prominent route. European universities are renowned globally, attracting a large number of international students. Successfully completing a degree can, in many instances, open doors to post-study work opportunities and eventual long-term residence. This route is particularly popular among younger individuals seeking both education and a potential future in Europe. Family reunification allows individuals who are already legally resident in a European country to bring their close family members to live with them. This pathway underscores the importance of family unity in migration policy. The specific rules, such as which family members are eligible and the financial requirements for the sponsor, can vary considerably between EU member states. Another, more specialized route is the intra-corporate transfer. This permits multinational companies to temporarily relocate key personnel, such as managers or specialists, from a non-EU branch to an entity within the European Union. While less common for general migration, it is a vital tool for international businesses. Finally, the asylum system provides protection for individuals fleeing persecution or serious harm in their home countries. It is crucial to understand that asylum is a specific form of protection based on international and national laws, not an economic migration route. The success of an asylum application depends on proving a well-founded fear of persecution according to strict legal definitions. Given the complexities and varying success rates of asylum claims, which will be discussed later, exploring other legal migration channels is often advisable for those whose primary motivation is not protection. Each of these pathways presents different opportunities and challenges for prospective migrants. The demand for skilled labor across various sectors in Europe creates significant opportunities for professionals from African and Asian countries. Work-related residence permits constitute a substantial portion of legal migration to the continent. In 2023, for instance, approximately 34% of the over 3.7 million first residence permits issued to non-EU citizens across the European Union were for employment reasons. This highlights the importance of labor migration in the EU's overall immigration strategy. Countries are increasingly streamlining processes to attract individuals with specific expertise, particularly in fields like IT, engineering, healthcare, and scientific research. This makes the work visa route a very attractive option. Germany stands out as a key destination for skilled workers. It issued a remarkable 69,000 EU Blue Cards in 2023, which accounted for the vast majority of the 89,000 issued block-wide. The EU Blue Card is a special residence permit for highly qualified non-EU citizens. Furthermore, Germany granted a total of 586,000 first residence permits in 2023, making it the second highest recipient country in the EU. This demonstrates Germany's significant reliance on and openness to foreign workers. The country has implemented reforms to its Skilled Immigration Act, aiming to make it easier for qualified individuals from outside the EU to come and work. While Germany is a major player, other EU countries also actively recruit international talent. Poland, for example, issued the highest number of first residence permits in the EU in 2023, with a total of 643,000. Many of these were for work purposes, reflecting its growing economy and demand for labor. Spain and Italy are also significant destinations, issuing 549,000 and 390,000 first residence permits, respectively, in the same year. France, another major European economy, granted 335,000 permits. These figures indicate a broad range of opportunities across the continent, though the specific sectors in demand and application requirements will vary by country. Securing a work visa typically requires a concrete job offer from an employer in the host country. The employer often needs to demonstrate that they could not find a suitable candidate from within the EU or European Economic Area. Qualifications must usually be recognized, and language skills, particularly in the local language, can be a significant advantage or even a requirement. Prospective migrants should research the specific needs of the countries they're interested in. They should also consult official government websites and potentially seek guidance from immigration advisory services to understand the detailed criteria and application procedures for work permits. This preparation is essential for a successful application. Europe's world-renowned universities and research institutions make it a highly attractive destination for students and academics from Africa and Asia. Pursuing education in Europe not only offers access to high-quality learning, but can also serve as a stepping stone towards long-term residency and a professional career on the continent. In 2023, education was the reason behind 14% of all first residence permits issued in the European Union to non-EU citizens. This translated to approximately 451,000 permits granted for study and research purposes, underscoring the significant flow of international students and researchers into the EU. Germany and France are leading countries in attracting international students and researchers. In 2023, Germany issued around 144,000 permits for study and research, making it one of the top choices globally. Its tuition-free policy at public universities for many programs, combined with a strong research infrastructure, contributes significantly to its appeal. France followed closely, granting approximately 117,000 such permits. The rich cultural heritage and academic excellence of French institutions continue to draw students from across the world. Other European countries also have robust international student programs, each with unique strengths and offerings. The process of obtaining a student permit generally involves securing admission to a recognized educational institution. Applicants typically need to demonstrate sufficient financial means to support themselves during their studies and cover tuition fees if applicable. Health insurance is also a standard requirement. For research permits, applicants usually need to have a hosting agreement with a research organization. Language proficiency, either in English or the local language, is often necessary, depending on the language of instruction for the chosen course or research program. It is vital to start the application process well in advance, as securing admission and a visa can take several months. Upon successful completion of studies, many European countries offer pathways for graduates to remain in the country to seek employment. For example, Germany allows international graduates to extend their residence permit for a certain period to find a job commensurate with their qualifications. If they secure such employment, they can then apply for a work permit, which can eventually lead to permanent residency. This post-study work opportunity is a critical factor for many international students choosing Europe. It transforms the student visa from a temporary educational stay into a potential long-term migration strategy, making it an increasingly popular route for young, ambitious individuals. Section 5. Family ties and corporate moves. Other viable long-term stay options. Beyond work and study, family reunification provides a significant legal pathway for long-term migration to Europe. The principle of family unity is respected in European law, allowing individuals legally residing in an EU member state to bring their close family members to join them. In 2023, family-related reasons accounted for a substantial 26% of all first residence permits issued to non-EU citizens in the European Union. This pathway is crucial for maintaining social cohesion and supporting the integration of migrants who have already established a life in Europe. It allows families to live together, which is, a fundamental human consideration. The eligibility criteria for family reunification typically cover spouses or registered partners and minor children. In some cases, dependent adult children or dependent parents may also be eligible, though conditions can be stricter. The sponsor, who is the family member already residing in Europe, usually needs to demonstrate stable and regular financial resources sufficient to support the arriving family members. They must also have adequate accommodation and health insurance. The specific requirements and processing times can vary significantly between EU countries. Therefore, it is essential for applicants to consult the national immigration authorities of the specific country where their family member resides. Intra-corporate transfer, or ICT, permits offer another, more specialized avenue for long-term stay, primarily for employees of multinational companies. This route facilitates the temporary assignment of key personnel, such as managers, specialists, or trainee employees, from a company's branch outside the EU to an entity within the Union. In 2023, the EU issued around 10,800 such permits. While this number is smaller compared to work or study visas, ICTs are vital for international business operations and global talent mobility. The Netherlands, with 2,700 permits, and Germany, with 1,900 permits, were the leading issuers of ICT permits in that year. The ICT permit typically allows for a stay of up to 3 years for managers and specialists, and 1 year for trainee employees. To be eligible, the individual must have been employed by the company outside the EU for a certain minimum period before the transfer. The host company within the EU must also meet specific criteria. While an ICT permit is temporary by nature, the experience gained and connections made in Europe can sometimes open doors to other long-term employment opportunities after the assignment ends, potentially leading to a different type of residence permit if the individual qualifies and wishes to stay longer. Section 6. The asylum conundrum in Germany, recent trends and shifting policies. Germany has historically been a major destination for asylum seekers globally. However, recent data indicates a challenging landscape for those seeking protection. According to the latest available figures, likely reflecting early 2025 data, the total protection rate for asylum applications in Germany stood at a mere 18.5%. This figure comprises 10.5% of applicants being granted legal refugee status under the Geneva Convention, 1.7% receiving subsidiary protection, and 6.3% being granted a national ban on deportation. These statistics reveal that a significant majority of applications are not resulting in a formal protection status. The rejection rate for asylum applications in Germany is correspondingly high, at 81.5%. Within these rejections, 49.3% were substantive rejections after a full examination of the case. The remaining 32.2% were classified as other completions by formal decision. This category often includes withdrawals of applications or cases falling under the Dublin regulation, where another EU member state is deemed responsible for processing the asylum claim. These figures underscore the stringent assessment process and the relatively low probability of a positive outcome for many asylum applicants in the current climate within Germany. The number of asylum applications remains substantial. In 2023, Germany received the highest number of first-time asylum applications in the EU, with 329,000 individuals seeking protection. Projections for 2024 anticipated approximately 270,000 new applications. Despite these high numbers, the actual recognition rates have been low. For example, by the end of 2023, only around 44,000 individuals who applied that year had been recognized as asylum seekers, with most applications being rejected or still pending. As of late 2024, Germany had a backlog of about 500,000 pending refugee applications, placing considerable strain on its processing capacity and resources. This situation is unfolding amidst a heated political debate on migration in Germany. There is increasing pressure for stricter policies, partly influenced by electoral gains by far-right parties. The German government has announced plans to tighten migration and security measures. These include potentially stopping financial support for asylum seekers if another EU country is responsible under the Dublin regulation, and making deportations easier by lowering the threshold for crimes leading to disqualification. Germany is also exploring new migration treaties with third countries like Moldova, Kenya, and the Philippines, possibly for external processing of asylum claims. This indicates a clear trend towards a more restrictive asylum environment. Section 7. Beyond Germany, exploring asylum alternatives within the European Union. While Germany processes a large volume of asylum claims, its recent low protection rates suggest that individuals genuinely seeking refuge might need to consider the broader European context. The European Union's Common European Asylum System aims for harmonization, but significant disparities persist among member states in terms of recognition rates and reception conditions. In 2023, the average recognition rate for first-instance asylum decisions across the entire EU was 53%. This figure is considerably higher than Germany's recent total protection rate of 18.5%, indicating that chances of receiving protection can vary widely depending on the country of application. Several EU countries reported significantly higher asylum recognition rates in 2023. For instance, Estonia had an exceptionally high rate of 97% for first-instance decisions. Ireland also demonstrated a high acceptance rate at 83%, followed closely by the Netherlands at 81%. These figures suggest that asylum claims in these countries may have a statistically better chance of a positive outcome, assuming the claim is well-founded. It is important to note, however, that these countries process far fewer applications than Germany. The specific national circumstances, legal interpretations, and conditions for asylum seekers can differ greatly. The overall number of asylum applications in the EU has been on an upward trend. In 2023, the bloc registered around 1 million asylum applications, marking a 20% increase from 2022. The top nationalities seeking protection in the EU during that year were Syrians, Afghans and Turks, reflecting ongoing conflicts and instability in their regions of origin. Despite the challenges, the EU as a whole granted protection status to approximately 410,000 asylum seekers in 2023. This demonstrates that the asylum system, while under pressure, continues to function and provide refuge for many. Prospective asylum seekers must understand that the Dublin regulation generally stipulates that the first EU country an asylum seeker enters is responsible for examining their claim. Asylum shopping, or attempting to choose a country based on perceived higher acceptance rates, is not permitted under EU rules and can lead to transfers back to the responsible member state. However, for individuals who have legitimate reasons for seeking protection and find themselves in a particular EU country, understanding the local asylum context is vital. Given the complexities and the often fraught nature of seeking asylum, it is always recommended to seek legal counsel from reputable organizations specializing in refugee law. Section 8. Welcoming nations, countries with higher integration potential and diverse populations. Beyond the specifics of asylum or visa success rates, the broader societal context plays a crucial role in the long-term integration and well-being of migrants. Some European countries, due to their history, economic structure, or social policies, may offer environments that are more conducive to the integration of newcomers from African and Asian backgrounds. One indicator of a potentially more established multicultural environment is the proportion of non-nationals in the population. Countries with a high share of foreign residents often have more developed support systems and a greater societal familiarity with diversity. For example, Luxembourg stands out with 47% of its population being non-nationals in 2023. Malta, at 25%, and Cyprus, at 20%, also have very significant proportions of foreign residents. While these are smaller nations, such figures can suggest a degree of openness and established migrant communities, which can be beneficial for newcomers seeking to build a life. Larger countries known as popular immigration destinations, such as Germany, which saw 1.6 million non-EU immigrants in 2022, Spain with 860,000, Italy with 334,000, and France with 317,000, also have substantial and diverse immigrant populations. Though the integration experience can vary widely within these nations and across different migrant groups. However, a high proportion of non-nationals or a history of immigration does not automatically guarantee smooth integration. One significant challenge highlighted by recent data is the issue of overqualification among non-EU citizens in some European labour markets. In 2023, Greece reported that 70% of its employed non-EU citizens were working in jobs below their qualification level. Similar high rates were observed in Italy at 64% and Spain at 56%. This suggests that even if migrants can secure employment, they may face difficulties in finding roles that match their skills and experience, potentially leading to frustration and underutilized human capital. It is also important to consider the current political and social climate. As noted, Germany is experiencing a heated debate over migration, which can impact the integration landscape for refugees and other migrants. While temporary protection mechanisms, such as those extended to Ukrainians, with Germany and Poland hosting the largest numbers, demonstrate Europe's capacity for response, these are specific schemes not generally available to other nationalities. Therefore, individuals from Africa and Asia must research not only the legal pathways, but also the socio-economic conditions, labour market realities, and public attitudes in their potential host countries to make an informed choice that supports successful long-term integration. Section 9. Conclusion. Charting a course for successful long-term migration to Europe. The journey for African and Asian individuals seeking to build a life in Germany or elsewhere in Europe is one filled with both immense opportunity and considerable challenges. As this essay has outlined, Europe offers several structured pathways for long-term migration. These include work-related permits for skilled professionals, academic visas for students and researchers, and family reunification programs. Each of these routes has specific requirements and caters to different aspirations and circumstances. Understanding these legal avenues thoroughly is the first and most critical step towards a successful migration experience. The data clearly shows a preference for managed migration through these channels. The asylum route, particularly in Germany, currently presents a more uncertain prospect. Recent statistics indicate low protection rates and a political climate leaning towards stricter controls. While asylum remains a vital lifeline for those genuinely fleeing persecution, it should not be viewed as a general migration strategy. Exploring alternatives such as work or student visas, if applicable, is often a more advisable course of action for individuals whose primary motivations are economic or educational. For those who must seek asylum, understanding the varying recognition rates across the EU and the implications of the Dublin regulation is crucial. Choosing the right country within Europe is as important as choosing the right migration pathway. Factors such as labour market demands, language, cultural environment, the presence of established communities, and societal openness all play significant roles in successful long-term integration. Countries like Estonia, Ireland, and the Netherlands have shown higher asylum acceptance rates recently, while nations such as Luxembourg have a high proportion of non-nationals. However, challenges like skills underutilization in some southern European countries also need careful consideration. Thorough research into these national specifics is indispensable. Ultimately, a successful move to Europe is built on informed decision-making, careful preparation, and realistic expectations. Prospective migrants should utilize official government resources, consult with reputable advisory services, and connect with diaspora communities for guidance. The European dream can indeed be realized, but it requires navigating a complex legal and social landscape with diligence and foresight. By understanding the various pathways, assessing personal eligibility, and thoughtfully selecting a destination that aligns with their goals and qualifications, individuals from Africa and Asia can significantly enhance their prospects for a stable and prosperous future in Europe.